What's up, Wolverines? I'm Aiden De Oliveira.
And I'm Christian Cueto, and welcome to this year's first edition of WBLN. Today, we remember those we lost. We remember their bravery and resilience. September 11th, 2001, a day of heroism and a day we will always remember. On that bright Tuesday morning, the world seemed just as it always had. The sun was shining, and life in New York City bustled as usual. But at 8:46 a.m., 23 years ago, everything changed. American Airlines Flight 11 struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center. 17 minutes later, United Airlines Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower. It was a coordinated attack that targeted not just the heart of New York, but the heart of America. In the face of fear and chaos, heroes emerged. Firefighters, police officers, paramedics, and everyday citizens rushed towards the devastation, risking everything to save others. Some of them never made it home, but their courage will be remembered forever.
Tuesday night was the first and potentially only head-to-head debate giving voters the opportunity to hear directly from the candidates. During the debate, each candidate had the opportunity to speak their thoughts on different policies. While this debate covered policy from both candidates, their personal attacks on each other took center stage. Voting begins next month.
Over the summer, 60 seniors were blessed with the opportunity to travel to La Colonia, Dominican Republic, where they worked with the local community to construct an aqueduct and rebuild a church. The 60 students learned a lot from this experience. Julio Blandon has more.
This past summer, a group of 60 Belen students went on the yearly youth mission trip in the DR. This time, they went to La Colonia. This trip was very unique compared to the others.
The needs of the village are a little different. The makeup was different. Things were a little farther apart from where the guys were living to where the chapel was, to where the schoolhouse was. And then on top of that also, we had to contend with rain more than we've ever had to contend with in the past. So the weather was also made it a little different from years past as well.
This group of young men were able to complete the aqueduct in around 5 days compared to the other Belen youth mission trip that took 8 days.
Well, I will tell you that besides the fact that the kids, participants worked really hard, I will tell you the reason why we were able to finish so early in comparison to other trips is because unlike any other community we've been to in the past, this one had the greatest number of villagers participating in the work. Every year I tell them the same thing, that we're going there and we're working side by side with them. But usually what ends up happening is that you'll get 2 or 3 campesinos that come to work with us. But this year, it was outstanding the amount of villagers that came down to work with us. Every day there were like 40 or 50 of them. So when you have 40 or 50 Dominicans and you have 60 Belen students working together, we were able to work so hard to get the job completed in record time. We've never completed an aqueduct so quickly as we did this one, which was actually providential, right? It was a God incidence that we were able to do that, because one of the things that made this trip very different from years before is we had to contend with a hurricane, and I've never had to contend with a hurricane. So we were able to finish up early and actually pack up and go down to the city so we could be in a safer place.
Rodrigo Cavada, a student that went on the Belen youth mission trip, encourages others to go as well.
So coming into it, I just thought it was going to be a fun experience with my friends and just we're going to work and just hang out. But after a couple of days, I realized that it was a good perspective seeing about how those people lived and how much they go through. And after all they go through, they still live a happy life. And sometimes they even seemed happier than us. And it was really just moving, seeing how happy they were with everything that they go through.
This BOIM trip was very special. For WBLN, I'm Julio Blandon.
For the past 3 years, the cross-country team has traveled to Flagstaff, Arizona to train for 24 days. During their stay, they ran most of the time, but also had some time to have fun by cliff jumping, hiking, and going on a boat day at Lake Powell. Matias Murle has more.
During the summer, the Belen cross-country team embarked on a 24-day training trip to Flagstaff, Arizona. Flagstaff became a popular training place for professional athletes back in the 60s in preparation for the 1968 Olympic Games in Mexico City. In recent years, with the success of Northern Arizona University's cross-country program, it became once again a popular hub for runners. Located at 7,000 feet of elevation, Flagstaff is considered to be the mecca of altitude training due to its optimal location, with low elevation towns nearby, which allows runners to do hard effort runs. Frankie Rees, head of the Belen cross country program, explains the purpose behind altitude training.
So the purpose for training at altitude is there's certain physical benefits that occur here for a period of time. You have to spend at least 2 to 3 weeks. We happen to spend about 24 days, and we carry that into working into Miami's training. And the guys kind of come back with like superhero capes from the benefits of working at altitude. Your body starts to produce more red blood cells, and you basically can run a little faster.
Running for most people is already a challenge, and at altitude it is even more. Senior Justin Rees explains how he shifts his mentality in order to make the most of his time at altitude.
I think you got to go in there with the mindset of already knowing that it's going to be difficult. I think if you go there thinking it's going to be easy, you're going to be in for a rude awakening for sure. So yeah, you just got to go into it expecting it to be difficult. That way, when you're hit with like trouble breathing or the runs just feel harder in general, you're expecting it and you're able to just keep on moving forward.
Ever since the team started training in Flagstaff 2 years ago, they have managed to qualify to Nike Cross Nationals for the past 2 years. Many people believe this was the key, but Coach Rees disagrees.
I'd be lying if I said that the altitude was a big part of it, but I think the bigger part is the fact that we're spending 24 days together. We hadn't done that at sea level. We hadn't done that in the mountains of North Carolina. We hadn't done that in New York or Oregon or Colorado or any of those places. We'd always go 10 to 12, maximum 14 days. So I think once we got into that close to a month together, that's what made the difference. The fact that we were all hanging out together, creating a whole lot more unity and paying attention to our training for a full day to 3 to 4 weeks, that makes a big difference.
Although the team runs the majority of the days, on their days off, the team did many activities, such as climbing Humphreys Peak, the highest point in Arizona, went on a boat day to Lake Powell, and explored the beautiful town of Sedona.
This year, my most specific memory that was most memorable is when we went to Lake Powell to it was a 60-foot cliff, and we just got to the top and just like spontaneously we were like, oh, we're just gonna jump up this one and get a video. And I remember Diego at first, and then Marcelo, and then Adrian, and then it was my turn. And I saw them all go, and I just had to do it myself. So that was definitely memorable because I was able to do that, and also I had some people following behind me, and it was really cool seeing everybody do it. Even though they were like afraid and stuff, and it was definitely worth it, sure.
New freshman to Belen, Lucas Manzano, only started running a few months ago, but he has proven he will be a valuable component to the team in the future.
Although it's my first season, I feel like my main goal is to just try to push myself as hard as I can and just try to get more consistent and be better every day, like day in, day out. And hopefully by the end of the season, I get a better 5K time and I could go to better races.
Ultimately, Coach Rees tells us what is it that he is most looking forward to this upcoming season.
I'm looking forward to seeing what the freshmen are going to do. And I, for the most part, think that there's a number of seniors that are also gonna set the tone on a national level. So I'm looking forward to, I guess, those two ends or those two bookends and then everything in between.
For WBLN, this is Matthias Möhle.
What's up, guys? I'm Gabriel Vick, and here's your weather for today. Today, there's a high of 90 degrees with a low of 81 with a 40% chance of rain. Tomorrow, the highs and lows are the same, but there's a 50% chance of rain. Friday through Sunday, the high is 91 and the low is 79 with a 40% chance of rain. This weekend, there's a tropical storm forming in the Gulf of Mexico, which we'll be taking a look at for the next couple of days. That's all for your news today. I'm Gabriel Vick with the weather.
Hey Wolverines, I'm Bobby Caballero, and here are your sports for today. Tomorrow night marks our Wolverine varsity football team's home opener. They take on the Key West Conks at 7 p.m. Pack the house. Also tomorrow, our Wolverine swimming team has a home meet against Mast Academy. We're looking forward to a great season for our Wolverine swimmers. On to the pros. This past weekend, the Dolphins defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars 20-17 with a game-winning field goal from Jason Sanders. Tyreek Hill, who was detained just outside the stadium hours before the game, was allowed to play, and he had a great game, scoring an 80-yard touchdown. Tomorrow night, the Finns play their division rivals, the Buffalo Bills, at Hard Rock Stadium. On Sunday, world number 1, Jannik Sinner, won the U.S. Open, defeating American Taylor Fritz in the final score of 6-3, 6-4, 7-5. This is Sinner's second ever major title, as well as his second this season, following his first Grand Slam title earlier this year at the Australian Open. That's all your sports for today. Back to the guys at the desk.
Thanks, Bob. That's all your news for today. Remember, stay safe.
And stay golden, Wolverines.